you know, I wanted.
How old is your son now?
He's 6 now, and you hear these stories constantly about people remembering the first time they saw a Bruce Lee movie. It's so epic. I'll never forget. My dad took me to the theater, blew my mind. Everyone's got a story. Joey's got his first time he saw Bruce Lee. So I wanted to make sure I didn't do that too early, because then he would forget. You know, because he forgets special ass moments we had together from like 3 years ago. I'm like, you don't remember that? You know, it's so.
Because he's only 5, right?
He's 6. He's 6.
Imagine how quick your brain is growing in that amount of years.
He forgot a lot of shit, you know. But anyways, so I thought maybe I'm gonna hit him with I'm gonna sit him down and put on Enter the Dragon and blow his fucking mind. But I don't want to do it too early. Like, when do I do it? I'm like thinking maybe I could even wait till he's 10 or 8 or whatever. You know, but he's been doing karate since he was 3. So about 3 years now he's been doing karate, and he took a nunchuck workshop class that they had. So he's got his little, you know, those padded nunchucks. He fucking loves those things, man. And I thought, shit, he's getting into the nunchucks. It might be time to drop Bruce Lee on his ass right now. You know what I mean? I don't want him to get twisted. You know what I mean? Because he starts talking about Jackie Chan and shit like that, and I'm like, oh, I got.
Has he seen anybody do it on video, or only learn it from a class?
This is what happened. So he's all into nunchucks. He's beating me up with them all the time. He loves nunchucks, and I said, then I wore one of those Roots of Fights shirts, and it was Bruce Lee with nunchucks, right? And he looked at my shirt and he said, Daddy, who's the guy with the nunchucks? And I thought, okay, it's time. It's time. Son, sit down. So, you know, kids are so easily brainwashed. I can get my kid into Satanism.
You ever seen this little kid?
Yeah, he's amazing. He's amazing.
He's got the Bruce Lee outfit on and everything, the jumpsuit. This kid's a beast.
He's amazing, and he's got the Game of Death sequence down.
It says the video is my son, and in parentheses, 5-year-old acting Bruce Lee's nunchucka scene.
Yeah, he reenacts the whole thing, note for note. I think he was on like America's Got Talent or some shit too. Wow. So I sat him down and I explained to him. I go, the master of the nunchucks, the #1 guy. You know, because. Like I was saying earlier, you could get kids to believe in anything. You could I could get my son into Satan easily. He'd be all about Lucifer. Boom! I got him into the Browns quick. Yeah, little kids. You know,
very malleable.
Yeah, totally. He's so into the Dodgers because his grandpa is into the Dodgers, so he's all about the Dodgers. And I got him into the Browns. He's all into the Browns now too, because I could get him into anything. Right. So I sat him down and I said, I'm going to sit you down and I'm going to show you the master of the nunchucks, and it's Bruce Lee. He's #1. I go, he's the greatest martial artist of all time. I broke him and I sat him down and I put him in front of the TV.
Dude, you should have filmed this.
I did.
You filmed the whole thing? You filmed you saying it to him?
No, I didn't film that, but I filmed
his reaction.
I filmed him watching Bruce Lee. First, I showed him the greatest nunchuck scenes of all time with Bruce Lee. You can go to YouTube and you can get there's compilations. They put together the one from the stuff in Enter the Dragon, the stuff in Chinese Connection, Way of the Dragon, or Return of the Dragon. And so I sat him down and go, I'm going to blitz him with this shit. I'm going to make sure that whenever he thinks about fucking nunchucks, he knows that Bruce Lee's the master, right? So he's just completely blown away. Then, after I showed him all the nunchuck scenes, I sat him down and I wanted to show him the greatest fight scene of all time: Bruce Lee versus Chuck fucking Norris. Come on, man. So I just wanted to leave that just in his DNA. And I filmed that. I filmed him watching Chuck Norris and Bruce Lee, and he always wants to know. He loves Bruce Lee instantly, and he needs to know who wins the fight. So it's like, Daddy, does Bruce Lee win? I go, he always wins, son. He always wins. But my natural reaction, because he's constantly asking questions, does he win? My natural reaction would be just watch. You got to watch this. Because it's going to be sweeter if you watch it and you go through the ups and downs. And he goes, no, Daddy, you need to tell me now. And I go, no, you're going to like it more if you just watch it. No, Daddy, does Bruce Lee win? He wants to fucking know.
Yeah, man. You don't want to be disappointed.
Yeah. So he
6 years old?
Yeah, he got completely blown away. So a week later, A week later, I go, today, you're going to watch the greatest martial arts movie of all time. Enter the Dragon, because it's Bruce Lee, Dad, isn't it? I go, yes, it's Bruce Lee. So we sat him down, we put on, and he can't stop asking fucking questions about every goddamn, okay, Daddy, who are the good guys? And who are the bad guys? Is he a bad guy or is he a good guy? So we got it down, the three main good guys. Bruce Lee is the main good guy. Williams, God damn it, his name escapes me. The black famous martial artist, Jim Kelly.
Wow, I forgot about Jim Kelly.
Yeah, Jim Kelly's awesome. And he did die in the movie, which, they were doing that shit back then, you know what I mean?
They're killing good guys.
And then Roper, John Saxon, he was the third good guy.
Saxon.
Yeah, it was Roper, Williams, and Bruce Lee. And they were the good guys. And the bad guys, do you remember the bad guys' names?
No.
Han was the dude on the top left. He's the
guy with the claws.
Former Shaolin monk who went bad and started selling heroin on his island and prostitution rings and all that shit.
I completely forgot the plot of this movie.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
It's the greatest fucking plot ever.
I remember watching it, but it's I didn't take it seriously. I always thought it was fun. I always looked at it not like, holy shit, we're going to see this wild action movie. I always thought of it as, because by the time I watched it, it was kind of campy. I'm sure I watched it when I was a little kid, but I don't remember it too
you
much.
got to go back and watch the whole thing, because everyone, that's most people's common reaction. Like, you just remember, remember the scene with Han with the razor hand.
That's all I remember.
He had a razor hand. He had a claw hand. You remember Bolo Young and they're fighting outside in the tournament. You remember all that shit. You remember Williams getting killed. They hung him. You remember Williams fighting Han. There's certain scenes everyone will remember, and you forget about the little scenes in the plot. So I sit down my son. And we're watching this, and my mom, his mom's like, it's appropriate for a 6-year-old, right? It's not going to get too crazy. I go, it's fine. It's just a bunch of karate. No, it's fine. So she's all like, So we're sitting there, and he can't stop asking goddamn questions. He can't stop asking goddamn questions. The bad guys are Han's the main guy, O'Hara, Bob Wall, remember him?
Yeah.
Everybody remembers he had the scar on his face. And everyone remembers that him and his gang were chasing Bruce Lee's sister in the movie, and they cornered her, and she had to kill herself. She just killed herself before they could rape her or whatever. People remember that. That's another classic scene. But you don't remember. You don't think about all the shit in between, man. Because the plot of the story is Han lives on an island, and he does a lot of illegal shit. He runs heroin and prostitution through his island, right? And he has a tournament once a year, and he invites all the greatest martial artists on Earth, and he tries to recruit them. He sits them all down, and he shows them his underground operation going on. You know what I mean? So he tried to talk Roper into it. He tried to talk Williams into it.
That's right.
And Roper almost went for it, because he was he was a good guy, but he was like a gambler. You know what I mean? He's kind of shady. But at the end, he's like, fuck this, I ain't gonna do this shit. So that's what he does. And he called him Bruce Lee too, and he was gonna try to recruit Bruce Lee, but the CIA got a hold of Bruce Lee first. Yes. Seriously. So they get a hold of Bruce Lee, and they sit him down in a dark room, and they're playing a projector, and they're showing, they want Bruce Lee to go in there undercover to uncover all the
karate fights,
the crime and all the stuff that was going on.
What else are they doing? Selling drugs?
Yes, drugs and prostitution, and doing mind control on. So I'm sitting there watching it. He wants to know who the bad guys are. Bolo's a bad guy. O'Hara, who's Bob Wall's a bad guy, and then Han's the main bad guy. So he's constantly asking questions, and then boom, you forget about the scenes where Han has a madam, and he's got all these hookers. There's a hooker scene. You forget about the hooker scene. They send 5 girls to Williams, who's a good guy, and Roper to try to corrupt him. You know what I mean? And boom, as soon as they're all in their gowns and in robes, and Williams is in a robe, and I grabbed the remote and just started hitting fast forward. And my son's like, wait, what's going on here? What's going on here, Dad? Why are you fast forward? I'm like, nothing's going on. What are they doing? they're getting ready to go to sleep. Just forget about that scene. Boom, and you forget that there's a. Is this the scene?
Yeah.
There it is, right there. And there's titties and everything, but yeah, he was blown away, and mission accomplished. He's Bruce Lee's #1 to him, but I made a mistake. The next week, I made him sit down and watch Return of the Dragon, which the end scene was a great scene with Chuck Norris in the old Rome Coliseum, but the whole movie before that is so bad. It's so bad. And Bruce Lee, he directed it and wrote it, and it's atrocious. It's so bad, except for the Chuck. Except for the end. But it's like high school kids put together that movie.
Damn,
it's terrible.
I gotta have to go back and watch that. Yo, you know what we should do? We should do a fight companion.
And watch Enter the Dragon. That would be fucking great, dude. Are you kidding?
Come on, man. A fight companion and watch.
Look at this. Look at this scene. So it takes place in Italy. One of his, I think his uncle or just somebody he knows has a Chinese restaurant in Italy, and the Italian mob, these guys, these are the goons, they're trying to run them out of business and control their business or pay them off to take the building or something, and they're resisting in Italy. So they send Bruce Lee from Hong Kong to handle the mob in Italy.
So corny.
It's fucking bad, dude.
So what do you think happened? You think Bruce Lee was just partying too much, doing a little blow, having a good time out in the town, being a big Hollywood star, puts together this movie, and he just got a little crazy with it?
You know what? This is before he blew up, though. This is because he did this movie. He did Big Boss, Chinese Connection, and this one was his third one. And then after this is when Warner Brothers came in and signed him. That's when they did Enter the Dragon. That was his last one. Enter the Dragon was had a budget. This didn't have really any budget. This is like just cheap Chinese production. You know,
it's crazy when you think that there was really no one like him before him.
Look at there's Chuck Norris waiting waiting for him. Look at that.
He gives him the thumbs down. You know, when you think about, there was no kind of movies like this before this.
Yeah. This fight scene, greatest fight scene, worst movie.
How about the grab of the chest hair? Pulls a chunk of it out.
Yeah.
Look at that. Oh, shit, I got your chest hair, bitch. I mean, it's funny watching it with no volume, too, because it's so corny. It looks so fake.
And it's all overdubbed, and it's god-awful.
But, dude, his
Bruce
martial
Lee's
arts technique... Especially when you think about the fact this was, what, 1974?
That was like 71.
71?
It was probably released in 76, but he died in 73.
He had incredible technique. Like, really good technique. Like, his kicking technique, especially for back then. You know, I think because of the YouTube and shit, there's so many guys out there that are doing, like... these jump spinning 360 wheel kicks. There was some guy that Winkle John Jackson had on his the Instagram page, and it's a Korean gentleman doing some fucking ridiculous shit, just like jumping 360-degree wheel kicks and like a series of them, cartwheels flying through the air and doing all these things. Like none of this was ever in the movies before. You know, until like when? Like maybe Jet Li, I guess? No, Ong Bak, right? Because they're a next level in terms of like athleticism.
I mean, there's that Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Right,
I mean,
but that's all like
mystical.
Yeah, that's
and
mystical
magic.
shit. This guy's actually doing this. This is just a video of him. He starts out normal, throws like a bunch of front kicks, throws a bunch of side kicks, and then he starts doing jumping wheel kicks, 360 wheel kicks, tornado kicks. He's just fucking flying through the air and flipping through the air, aerial cartwheel kicks. And you're like, whoa. People can do shit now, and they do stuff in like in martial arts films. The technique's just way better. They're just way better. They just got better at it.
Can you put that fight scene back up with Bruce Lee and Chuck Norris?
See if you can find that video first while you're looking for it, just while we're...
Talking about like the one,
the one thing about Bruce Lee...
with all the pads and he flies
No.
up.
It's just a guy throwing kicks in the air. He's just throwing kicks in the air. It's on the Jackson Wink... Yeah, it's Jackson Winklejohn.
I just looked at
Instagram page.
This guy's doing it in MMA?
No. He's doing it in the air.
Okay.
Just doing it in the air.
Which of their pages should I...
Is he planning to use it in MMA?
The top
think?
one, Jackson Wink MMA.
I didn't.
That one. Check that one out. There's a Korean dude, if you keep going down. I don't know if he's planning on using it in MMA. Where the fuck is it? God damn it.
Yeah, I didn't see anything.
Maybe they were commenting on it? Fuck. Somebody had it up. Sorry. Anyway.
But with Bruce Lee fight scenes, what I like about him is you could see him, although, you know, him beating up 50 guys at a time, how real can that be? But he does, on one-on-one fights, he does a lot of feinting. He'll do boxing stuff. He'll do wrestling. He'll do jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
You see him mix it up, and he's trying to make it a lot more realistic. Like, then you have your classic kung fu theater type movies where they're just...
Right.
You're like,
Yeah.
that shit just gets
Those
old.
movies are so
Bruce
crazy.
Bruce Lee will dance around. He'll throw a jab, feint, kick you in the leg, fake low, go high, and knock you out. He does that against Chuck Norris in Way of the Dragon.
And if you go back to 1970, like that kind of martial art technique, I mean, he was amazing. He was also the first guy that figured out how to put a bunch of martial arts together and just forget about I'm judo, you're karate, and forget about that. Just use everything that works.
Yeah.
Everything from everywhere.
Yeah.
That was heresy back then.
I mean, he might have been. He may have been the first guy to do that. Really, I mean,
One